Right, hello lads and lasses, and welcome back to Boys Down Under. And yes, in fact, we do have another transfer video today. Today we are looking at the newest J-League star to be linked to Celtic Football Club. Before we get into the video though, if you are a fan of the channel, please consider subscribing. We're on the road to 2,000 subscribers and we're trying to hit that every single day. Also, if you have been a fan of the channel for a while now and you want to support me even further, you can become a member of the channel by clicking the join button below. It's a great way to support me as, a creator financially and helps me make these videos for you guys. But without further ado, let's get into it. So the player is actually freshly called up Japanese international Reo Hatate. And he's 23 years old. Well, I think he's turning 24 later this month if I'm right. And Reo is actually a multi-positional maestro, I guess we could say. That's a cool little alliteration there. But he has the capability of playing central midfield, left back, and also left wing, but predominantly the left back and central mid spots. He's currently contracted to Kawasaki Frontale, who actually have just clinched the J-League title. And as for his contract, well, that runs out on deadline day of the January transfer window. Now, seasonally, well, this season, Reo has been playing a lot of football. He's played 33 games in all competitions for Kawasaki. He's notched up 3 assists, 5 goals, and 2,762 minutes played. Now, predominantly all of these games have been at left back for Kawasaki, but Scottish Football, or Football Scotland, who reported this story originally, they have actually said that Celtic are looking at him as more of a midfield-orientated option. So that's where that dual position or triple position, multi-position-ness comes in handy because he has the ability to cover both positions and Celtic would literally have the choice of where they want to play him. Now, so far this season, Hatate has been one of the best talents in the J-League. He's received 3 Man of the Match awards and that's very good for a player who plays in your midfield and the defensive position of left back. And on FOTMob, he has got an average rating of 7.64 for the season. That is actually the second highest in the league. It's only behind Miki Yamane. Even Kyogo Furuhashi is up there. He's 4th, I think. So it's very, very good from Reo. And it shows that he is very consistent in his footballing ability and technically is very sound. Now, this has been a real breakthrough for Reo this season. And looking at his highlights, I was able to find, some strengths and weaknesses of the player. And I can tell you right now, he looks very, very good at both left back and centre midfield. Now, because some of his major strengths are those strengths that you need to have to be able to succeed in the midfield. He's very, very capable at playing in tight spaces. His ball distribution for long passes and short passes is extremely good. And I think even more importantly, his ball distribution when under pressure is exceptional. He's able to use his body to good effect. And I think he's got a really good sense of the ball at his feet. He's not technically gifted, but passing wise, he makes the passes hit. Now, the only con, I guess you could say, is that he's only 5'7". But I guess in saying that, looking back on it, I think 5'7" for a left back or a centre mid, those two positions, you don't really need to be super tall to succeed. It's not like striker or centre back or goalkeeper. So necessarily height isn't an issue, and he isn't skinny either. He's got a bit of muscle on him, so I think he's certainly a really good player for his height, and he's able to use his body very well. Now, in terms of the deal, as mentioned earlier, Reo's contract is coming to an end. It finishes on deadline day of the January transfer window. And in their last match, Frontale clinched the J-League, which I've just mentioned, and there were post-match celebrations as usual, but there were also tears. And those tears came from Reo, who appeared to be farewelling the fans, the Kawasaki fans, and his teammates as he was consoled by them. Now, this, in my eyes, and it may not be the same for you guys, but when a player has just won the league and he's actually crying and sort of getting consoled by his teammates, it's a clear indicator that could definitely be his last season with the club. And with his contract running out at the end of January, it isn't an indicator that he's going to sign for Celtic, but it is an indicator, like I said, that he will not be returning to the club next season. Now, By no means is that saying Celtic have got a deal in principle signed for him, but it does seem awfully convenient that the rumours broke out about this deal a couple days ago, and then only yesterday, when Kawasaki clinched the title, he appeared to farewell the teammates and the fans of the club. But that's up to you guys to decide, but it does seem awfully convenient from my perspective. Now, there are a few ways Celtic could muster up a deal for Reo. Now, transfermarket.com currently have him valued at 800,000 euros, so that's just under 700,000 Great British pounds. Now, during the winter break, the transfer window, during the January transfer window, as we all know, there is a winter break winter break for Scottish football and in the Premier League. So, in saying that, it would not be crucial for Celtic to have him signed from day one of the transfer window, because there's only 3 games actually in January for Celtic. You have the Glasgow Derby, you have a match against Hearts, and you have a match against Dundee United, if I remember correctly. So if Celtic were to sign him on a pre-contract agreement, he would arrive at the club on deadline day or just after deadline day. So he would arrive with his teammates around the start of February and begin training with Ange. Now, that would see him miss a minimum of 3 games, the ones I stated earlier, but he would probably miss quite a few more due to him needing to, gel in with his teammates. And because it's actually, he would have been not playing football for 2 months, he would have needed a proper preseason, to be honest with you, to get back into fitness, unless, other things happened. But honestly, I think Celtic, there's another chance that Celtic could, if we have got a deal in principle, we could certainly sign him so he arrives at the club during that winter break, and in that time he can, gel with his teammates, get his fitness back, because the J-League season actually ends the first weekend in December, I believe, so he will not be available before then. But after that, in the January window, he's not playing football, so he's got no need to be at Kawasaki, no need to be contracted to Kawasaki, so we could certainly arrive in Glasgow a bit earlier for a cut price deal, or just, if Celtic can agree something with the other club. Now, in terms of him as a player and in terms of the deal, I'm 100% all for this deal. Will he walk into Celtic's team? Certainly not. I don't think if we signed him instantly, he would not kick out Juranovic, McGregor, or Turnbull from the team without a doubt. He would certainly have to be behind them. But it does provide Ange with this quality depth in the positions where Celtic certainly are, lacking a bit of quality depth. Because you look in the midfield, we've got McCarthy, Baton, Sorrow, and apart from Baton, the other 2 aren't really getting a look in from Ange. And then at left back, you've kind of got Greg Taylor, who's still getting recovered from injury. You've got Bolingoli, Scales, and young Monty. So he certainly would be a very, very valuable pickup for Ange. And when he arrives, if he arrived, he would be 24 years old. So he certainly has still developing to do as a player and a footballer. Now, we could certainly turn him into a really, really great footballer for Celtic. Honestly, if we were to sign him, I could see him starting for the Hoops in maybe the couple of years to come. I think certainly not at the start, but I do feel he could be a player for the future at Celtic. And under the training with Ange, I certainly think he could develop as both a footballer, as a player, and as a person, and just get that winning mentality that Ange Postecoglou puts into his team. Now, the better thing about him, and I don't want to sound, disrespectful to the J-League, but he would come on a bargain, all right? And I'm not going to say this because the J-League has a lot of quality stars, and look, but the thing is, the J-League really isn't held in high regard in Europe. The players, if Celtic were to sign players from the J-League, they don't get that sort of Europe tax, I guess we could say, or Premier or England tax, which a lot of players have when they're arriving from the bigger leagues in Europe. So I do feel Celtic would get Reo on a very, very cut price deal, and one that I would be 100% for, whether it's free, whether it's under £1 million, I would 100% be for this deal. But look, if Celtic do end up making the play for him, I'd be all for it. Like I just said, we're acquiring a player of real talent and someone who could represent the Hoops in many years. And yeah, I haven't got much more to say about him. I think it would be a great, valuable acquisition for Ange and Celtic. But that is all from me. So What do you guys think of the deal? What do you think of, Reo coming to Celtic? Do you want to see him in the hoops, or would you rather we target other players in these similar positions? Remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel, become a member if you wish, but that is all from me. Tomorrow I'll be back previewing Celtic's clash against Dundee, but until next time, hail, hail.